Today is my big experiment using a bendable ruler to make my own crotch curve shaped template. Welcome to Fit Tip Tuesday. I got to thinking about the bendable ruler when I shared how to use a template made from a bendable ruler to adjust your pants pattern last week. So I ordered myself a new 36-inch long bendable ruler because my crotch length is longer than 24 and my old ruler was only 24 inches. I thought I want to give it a proper experimental try. So I ordered my ruler, and if you'd like one of these 36-inch rulers, check for a link in the description below. And then I set about to make my own template for my crotch curve. In addition to using the bendable ruler to capture the shape of my crotch curve, I also put together two of my favorite rulers along with some sew tights to create a gauge to measure my depth front to back. And so you can see here, I put together the L-shaped ruler with a clear grid ruler and one of my sew tights to hold the clear grid ruler onto the metal ruler. And the beauty of this is, in order to get the depth from center front to center back through my body, I need to have two straight edges that are parallel to each other. Using the sew tights magnet here will allow me to make sure that this plastic ruler is perpendicular to the straight edge that I'm using to measure with. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to do this. I put the L ruler against the small of my back and I adjusted the plastic ruler like this until it was touching my center front belly, and I could make sure that I got an accurate measurement, again because I have the sew tight holding it on the metal ruler, and I can use the grid on the plastic ruler to make sure it's perpendicular to the metal ruler. I ended up with 12 inches on here, so I'll just show you as I'll slide it off. So now I know what the depth of my crotch curve is front to back. I can just take this and line it up with the grid on my paper like this and just draw it in. So I can go like this, I can go like this, and then I can also make sure this is completely parallel or perpendicular, and then I can just go like this. All right, so that is the depth of my crotch curve. So this is going to be the front, and this is going to be the back. So that was step number one. The next thing was I wanted to use my bendable ruler to create my crotch shape. You can see here I folded skinny strips of tin foil together, and then I taped them on to make movable rings where I could mark things. For example, I slid this to 18 inches. That's where my inseam is going to be. And then I also used the ones on the end to mark my front and back waist at center front and center back. So basically, to use this ruler to get an accurate shape of your crotch curve, just take your time bending it to your shape and sort of feeling that it's against your body but not digging into your body. Just to show you, the first thing is you want to mark your waist. And of course I could use my pants fitting waistband as a guide for that, right? And then I'm just going to stick the ruler so that the 18-inch mark, and I'm just going to feel for my inseam, and I'm going to put it right there. And some of the tips I have for this are to turn the ruler away from you and sort of roll it up on you like this. And that gives a pretty accurate way to get the ruler to sort of agree with your shape. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm literally going to just arrange my little tin foil right at the top of my waistband so I can feel that it's there. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the back and sort of feel that it's getting wrapped around me accurately. It's not pressing. Then to take it off, I'm literally going to drop it down, step over it, and stick it on my paper. Now what I want you to notice here is when I put this down, see how it pops away from each other? You know, it's flaring out a little bit here. I think it's closer, so I can use my sew tights to hold it where I think it needs to be. So, you know, from front to back in my depth. And then notice it even captured my belly here. Okay, so this is my approximate crotch curve. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trace that onto my paper. Like this. And again, I use my Sew Tight just to hold that because I saw it bending out of shape. This bendable ruler is not going to stay the exact shape if you let it just fly open. So you really have to look at what it is and then sort of get your best shape. And again, you can hold it with a magnet or a pattern weight there. I'm going to mark my front, back inseam. I'm going to mark my back waist and my front waist. And then I'm going to take it off. Here's a template of my shape. Let's make it a little darker here. You know, and I think because it's, you know, outside the line there, or in the line there, outside the line, and back and forth, I think this is a good representation of my shape and my depth because I gauged it with the two rulers. Now, how I'm going to use this is exactly how I used it in last week's video. So if you look here, you can see I took my personal Sorcha Classic Slim Trouser pattern that I know already fits me pretty well. Okay, so it's not scratch out of the box, it's my personal pattern. But notice the red line is the change that I dashed in based on the shape of my crotch. All right, so I decided what I would do is make those subtle changes to my crotch curve and sew it up. And I'm going to show you the results of that in 1 minute. I was having so much fun with this, I wanted to try my daughter as well. So let me just show you her crotch. Look at this. Would you imagine in a million years a crotch could be shaped like this? I've never seen a crotch curve like this, but I know my daughter's shape, and I know she has a very, very flat butt, and she always has a lot of extra fabric hanging out under her butt. Notice what happened here. Here's her inseam, and then very quickly it angles up, and then when you get to the fullest part of her behind, then it slopes up to her small of her back or her waist. That's what you're looking at there. And then here is the slope of her tummy here. So I want to test the fit of this shape as well. I was so intrigued by the way it came out that I took my Sorcha Classic Slim Trousers. I just traced the standard size 24. This is what it looks like. And look at the difference between this crotch shape and what the original pattern was. So you can see I had to take out a lot of the back of the crotch curve, make the inside negative space so much less for her. And I was really excited to sew this together. Now, keep in mind, I've done no fitting with this pattern and my daughter, and I just wanted to see how this crotch curve would fit. The one thing about Anna's that came out a little bit different, I was kind of surprised. Notice I checked her depth front to back too, and her crotch curve sat inside. It didn't reach the guide that I made based on her depth measurement here, so I have almost 1 inch on each side. I wanted to make sure I had enough fabric to wrap around her body, so I added 2 inches of safety seam allowance to the side seams, and I sewed hers up. So first, let's take a look at my back view. Here it is. You can see that the shape and the fit of it is really, really nice. I was able to pull it up higher than I could pull it up in its original shape, which supports my theory that crotch shape does matter. Okay, so the closer the fit, the more important it is that the shape of your crotch actually agrees with you. And it's very comfortable. So I will be using this pattern to sew together some pants, and I will share those with you when I get them done. But that was exciting. And then here is the most exciting thing. Look at Anna's back view. I was really, really surprised how well this first muslin fit her, because like I said, I didn't take any body measurements. I didn't adjust the pattern at all. All I did was use the bottom of the curve to change the shape of the pattern to agree with what I got from the bendable ruler. I think there really is a value to using a bendable ruler. Does it fit perfectly? No. Are you going to be able to just use a bendable ruler to get your crotch shape and then be done fitting? No, but it does give me a really good start to work on a pair of Sorcha Classic Slim Trousers for her. I'm super excited about the results of this experiment that I did, and I was really excited I had the time to take the extra step of actually sewing together muslins so you can see how these crotch shapes actually fit us. So if you'd like to try this for yourself, again, I do have a link to Bendable Ruler in the description below. I also have a link to the Sew Tights magnetic cutting system. I will tell you, I have been using this every day for something. I've used it to cut things, and I use it to match up all my pieces. You can see from the photos that I shared that if you're trying to trace something off, having a magnetic surface with these booster magnets is really amazing to keep your work accurate and nothing slides around. If you use my link, you get 15% off, so that's a really good savings on this. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time live for subscriber Q&A. Join me for that tomorrow. And then remember, I'm blasting off to Kansas City to teach a 3-day workshop for the Kansas City Garment Group, so I will not be here for FabFit Friday this week. I'm so sorry. But I will recap the finale of the Bias Cut Blueprint Banto Top next week when I get back. I hope you enjoyed my little bendable ruler crotch curve template experiment. I know I'm excited to develop both my and Anna's patterns into final pants patterns. I'm very excited. So thank you guys for watching, and have a lovely rest of your day.